So Dolores Cannon was a past life regression hypnotist, and she hypnotized all of these people, and some of them went to the place between lifetimes, and she chronicled all these sessions in her amazing book, Between Death and Life. Check it out. Now, one thing else that Dolores' hypnosis subject said is that we are all parts of the same, right? We are parts of Source, and we come here to have experiences as human beings. And then we take that knowledge back to Source. And Earth is a school. We're constantly climbing through the levels of dimensions, schools, other planets, and until we climb the ladder back to Source. Now, one of the best ways for you to learn experiences is to have multiple versions of you going on. So every time you have a choice to make, another version of you branches off and starts living their own timeline. And then every time those two timelines have a choice to make, they branch off, and pretty soon it's this amazing tree. Now, quantum physics says the same thing with the many worlds theory. And this whole idea that there are parallel realities happening, parallel timelines happening, starring you right now at the same time, right? Past lives are actually parallel lives. And so you right now are living in an infinite number of realities. And some are very similar to the one that you're consciously living right now. And some are vastly different, as you can imagine, as different choices were made. So let's bring this back to illness, because that's kind of been the topic of the week. That's what my Instagram followers suggested or requested. So there is a version of you who is healed right now. There's a version of you who is sick. There is a version of you who lives to be 100 years old. There's a version of you who dies as an infant. And there's a version of you on every gray area in between all of those things, because you are here to have as many experiences of being a human as is earthly possible. Now, all of these other parallel realities exist, and they are accessible to you. There's such a thing called quantum jumping, where you can actually jump into alternate timelines, and that's where the Mandela effect comes in, like named after Nelson Mandela. Like, if you see things shifting in your world, like, oh, that building didn't used to be there, like maybe you're jumped in another timeline. But using the law of attraction, you can also call into your life whatever it is you want. And knowing that every possible reality exists out there in a state of rest until you decide to choose it from this like quantum field. That's what quantum physics tells us. And knowing that it already exists in another parallel reality should give you even more confidence you can make it a reality.